welcome to the June Q&A. Thank you again for sending in your questions. Be on the lookout for the July request for questions if we didn't get to your question this month. I try to do as many as I can, so bear with me. All right, question number one coming from Tierra. I have a question about choosing a location and opening the first studio location. How do you know when you're ready? What top things to know and what to look out for? What's the best way to go about it? Well, I can tell you honestly that I worked out of my house for the longest time, and I was A-okay with it. I didn't have another set of bills, electric, and all the utilities that go along with opening your studio. Plus, it just seems like once we opened our studio, we had to duplicate everything, furniture, TV, and that can become quite expensive. So don't be fooled into thinking that opening a new space is just the cost of your rent. It goes well beyond that. You need another insurance policy. And again, you're going to need all this additional equipment and insurance on top of what you're probably doing out of your home today. So how do you know when it's time? I think you have to really start thinking about a few things. First and foremost, if you're working out of your home today, that's great if you're a wedding photographer. But as you start bringing clients into your home to view pictures, is your husband in the same line of work as you? Or do you have kids that are running around the house and trying to go to bed? These are things that are going to, I think, interfere with your business and give clients the wrong experience when it comes to working with you. And I don't want that, right? My ultimate goal is I want them to have a great experience. So as we were into probably our second or third year, going into our third year, it became really clear that if we wanted to continue to offer a high-end experience, we had to look elsewhere and we had to move out of our home. So keep that in mind. Start writing this stuff on a piece of paper, pro-con it. What needs to happen? What are the benefits of moving somewhere? What are the benefits of staying out of your current location? And put cost to it. That's the biggest mistake I see photographers make. They underestimate how much it's going to cost for that new space. Telephone lines, internet service, all things you don't normally think about. All right, question number two coming to us from Scott. What do you wear to a black tie wedding? I feel like this is a joke. I wear a black tie. No, I'm kidding. What do I wear to a black tie wedding? I typically try to dress for the occasion. Most weddings, I am not wearing a suit and tie. It's just not my style. I'm going to be laying in the street, rolling around. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I tend to wear a pair of black slacks and maybe a black or gray dress shirt. Don't wear bold colors. You just stand out. And I don't want people looking at us. The biggest compliment I get from a lot of guests at a wedding is they'll say to us, man, we didn't even know you were around all day. I love when they say that because I don't want to hijack the event. I mean, I do to a certain extent, but I don't want to be obnoxious about it. And we've all been to those weddings where the film crew just didn't seem like they belonged to the event. And so that's the key there. Now, if it's a true black tie event, meaning everybody's in tuxedos, then you absolutely have to be in a tuxedo. And we have had those weddings. Not many, but for the most part, try and dress to the actual occasion. From Kerry, how do you build successful packages? Kerry, that is a great question, and I'm here to tell you it is through trial and error. There's no silver bullet when you're trying to figure out packages for your clients. That is the biggest mistake people make. You need to understand it is a living document. So your packages aren't static, meaning you don't create a package today and it lasts for the next 12 months. I have a framework, a structure for a package. I understand consumer behavior in my packaging, but what's in it will move over time. You have to look at consumer trends, demands, what's selling, what's not selling. Maybe your clients are digging canvas, maybe they're digging metal. Well, if they like metal, put more metal in the packages. If they like canvas, put more canvas in the package. Again, it's trial and error. Don't be afraid to make mistakes here. How and where do you find inspiration? This comes to me from Jeremy. Great question. Inspiration for me comes from everywhere. I am constantly, it's almost as if I have ADD. I mean, I'm looking around, I'm looking at commercial ads. Try Googling award-winning ads, right? Go to Google and submit award-winning ads. You would be amazed at what comes back. I love looking at commercial advertising. I love looking at commercial work. I try not to look at wedding photography. Because it becomes cliche, it becomes old. I want to be forward-thinking. I want to be doing things that no one else is doing. In order for that to happen, we've got to be forward-thinking. Look to Hollywood, cinema for inspiration. I mean, it's everywhere if you're looking for it. So just like you have to learn how to see the light, you have to learn how to see inspiration. And then, of course, put your own twist on it. Don't try and recreate something that someone else has already done. Use it for inspiration and as a launch point, and that will take care of your business and your brand. How do you figure out actual profit? Oh, that's like the holy grail of just business. What is actual profit? All of us tend to define it a little bit differently. Obviously, the definition of profit, right? We're going to take all our expenses and liabilities out of the equation, and that is true profit. But I tend to look at things a little bit differently for my business, right? I tend to look at things at a little bit more of a gross level or not quite a net level, okay? And what that means is basically I'm looking at several layers of profitability within my organization. The biggest one for me that you need to be concerned with is cost of goods. How much is it costing you to produce that good or service? So for example, when you go out on a photo shoot and, and let's just say it's a family portrait session and they hand you $1,000, how much of that was profit? Profit is not just, okay, well, I was out there for an hour and I gave them a CD, therefore I made $1,000. No, that's not how it works. You've got to subtract out your time, not only your time to the shoot, driving back from the shoot, downloading the images, the cost of the hard drives, the cost of storage, the cost of backups, editing the images. All of these things go into your cost of goods, the cost to produce that. Now your hard cost, right, maybe you're selling a canvas, that is something completely different. I like to keep my hard cost to about 15%. Everything else tends to work itself out. So your hard costs are tangible items like a canvas, an acrylic, your prints. These are hard, tangible costs. Try and keep that to 15% and the rest will work itself out, I promise. Do you have any suggestions for marketing directly to students at a specific school? This comes to me from Peter. Peter, that is a very good question and a very difficult one to answer. Hitting kids directly at a single school is almost impossible for me anyway, because I don't have a list of students at any single school. That is very difficult to get your hands on, mostly because parents, teachers, the Board of Education are very protective of student names. So there are companies out there like American Student List that you can buy names of high school students, but you will not be able to narrow down to the school. But how's this for an idea? Have your ambassadors go through the school yearbook and write down everybody's name and see if you can cross-reference that with a list you get from American Student List. Or have them write down the address. Or see if you can bribe somebody and get your hands on the parent-student directory or student-teacher directory. Try and get your hands on stuff like that. You'd be surprised how resourceful your kids can be. How should you evaluate return on investment for a local wedding magazine? This comes to me from Corey. I don't know that you can truly measure return on investment. Let me tell you what's not going to happen. You're not going to run an ad in a local magazine and you're going to book 10 weddings. That's not going to happen. You have to look at advertising in magazines as building what I call brand awareness. I want, when people are going through the magazines, to look at that and go, oh wow, that picture's amazing. Who did that? Oh wow, it was Salvatore Sincata. And then when they come to our studio, they now see, okay, what they remember the name. And that's what you want to do. That's brand awareness. I want people to know who we are. The worst thing that can happen to your studio is a bridesmaid or a high school senior or a family portrait session. They get asked, where are you getting your pictures done? Oh, I'm going to that Sal Sincata guy. I never heard of him. If anybody says they've never heard of you, that is bad for your business. So think about being in magazines, not necessarily as acquiring new brides, although that may happen, but think about it in terms of brand awareness so people know who you are. What do you do for insurance? Do you have coverage for your equipment and liability? This comes to me from Lee. Lee, get insurance if you don't already have it. All of you out there, get insurance if you don't have it. Again, another mistake I see photographers make. Well, I do it on the weekends. What's the worst that can happen? Somebody can trip on your bag. That's pretty basic. That's not like an out there far-fetched concept to wrap your head around. Somebody trips on your bag, they are going to sue you personally and sue your business. So you need to have insurance. Look to your homeowner's insurance and add a policy, right, a rider to that existing policy. It's usually very inexpensive. I mean, I'm talking about $300 a year to add some coverage. And I think we have $1 million policy, $1 million, $3 million. And so very, very cost effective to do this. Second thing you want to insure is your gear. Add a business policy. You have to insure all your equipment, or God forbid if something happens, you're screwed and you're going to not only lose your equipment, but now you have to replace that equipment. So add that. How do you close an initial client consultation and try and book on the spot without sounding pushy? This is an art form and you need to practice. What I do is as I walk my client through all the pricing, all the packaging, what I will say to them is, hey guys, once you know you want to work with us, I encourage you to lock in your date and secure your date so that you know we're working together. That is the best thing for you to do. And that becomes non-pushy, it's real soft sell, and they will tell you immediately just through body language, if that's something they're interested in doing. And if they say no, we want to talk it over, we want to talk to some people. No problem, guys. Just once you know, let me know and I'll lock in your date. To lock in your date, it's a $1,000 deposit, and that ensures I don't take any more meetings for your day and that we are guaranteed to be working together. So keep it really soft, subtle. And finally, we shoot weddings, families, corporate, product photography. Should we have all of them on one website, or should we try and separate everything? This comes to me from Severine. And my recommendation to you is create kind of a portrait site and maybe create a product site, right? Think about it. Your weddings and seniors and babies, they don't care about, you did this great, product shot for, a can of aerosol hairspray. Nobody cares about that stuff. And your product, your commercial clients don't necessarily care about what you're doing with weddings. So just think in terms of your client base, what's important to them and what they want to see, and keep your site clean so that people can get to the information they need when they need it. Guys, great questions this month. I hope this has been really useful for you, and we'll see you next month.